was a teenager, I used to listen to his music all the time, and I know everybody in this room did too.
Yes.
I got two great, that was one of the great ones. That was one of the great ones, and we're delighted that you've come to Western Maryland tonight, to Washington County, and we're happy to have you here. You've swelled our crowd wonderfully. And I'm going to make this brief. You've come to hear him speak. I would like to say that we have the pleasure tonight of hearing a mayor and a congressman and a very talented singer and a devoted Republican. You have plenty of information about him in your biography and your program, but I just want to read one sentence. It says, Congressman Bono is a conservative Republican who believes in reducing federal bureaucracy, cutting taxes, and returning power to the state and local governments. He has strongly opposed the unfunded federal mandates that have placed an unfair financial burden on the taxpayers. Let's welcome Congressman Sonny Bono.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Doesn't make sense at home is not going to make sense in government. And in government, we are always trying to pass legislation that makes no sense at my home. So it's very interesting. I mean, we spend money that we don't have. We mandate people to do things that they don't want to do. And you all know the issues, and you all know what's wrong with the issues. But it's important that we're there and that Roscoe's there, because something's going on now that is most important, and that is, in my view, the Constitution has never been more threatened than it is now. We have an administration that has suddenly created a whole new set of rules that eludes responsibility to the American public. Things happen and you go, well, wait a minute, how did that happen? Why are you doing that? And it was a computer error, and that's your answer today. Or you have 1,000 FBI files wind up in Hillary's bedroom, and they have Colonel Chicken stain marks on them. And you go, how did they get over there? I don't know. And so many things are going on now, and the response is, I don't know. I'm on the judiciary. Yeah, I'm also on national security with Roscoe. And on judiciary, we handle the INS. The INS is naturalization, and the INS, we have these hearings. Government has hearings. And the hearings are very interesting, because all these eloquent people, again, get up before the congressman and tell them whatever they want to tell them. Most of it's not true. And you sit and try to find out what they are doing. And when you talk about government money, they are spending millions upon millions and billions of dollars wastefully, and so you're a congressman and you're trying to stop these things. And one of the things that was important to me was trying to see if we could get a handle on the INS. And after being there, this will be my 3rd year, the skullduggery that goes on with these agencies is staggering. And that's why I say to you that never before has there been this lack of responsibility back to the public. Any answer is what you're going to get, and there's nothing you can do about it unless we fight really hard, and we have a hard time. Last month, wrote to Janet Reno twice asking a question, why are you doing this? No response. Then I called, and they said, well, we have this backlog. They're supposed to respond to us, but they don't. So there's this utter disregard about what this government is all about and how it's run and why it's run. So these things, we know the issues, but this goes beyond the issues. These are important. The INS in Chrome, Florida, we wanted to see what they were doing because we didn't believe what they were doing. So we went down to Chrome because we knew they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. And Chrome's a border, Chrome, Florida. And they have aliens, illegal aliens that are being incarcerated. And when we came down there, the congressmen, they released them all, felons, released them into the United States. Why? So we wouldn't find out that they weren't telling us the truth about the incarceration situation. So they released them. And then we caught them. And then when we caught them, we asked them, well, what's going on here and why? And the INS then says, we're not going to tell you. And they don't tell you. They don't tell you. Then you have to bring in the Justice Department. Now understand how much money this is costing, all of this process. And now I'm just a guy again, and I'm overwhelmed because I thought, nobody can do this in America. You can't just disregard the rules. And then the lady that was under Miss Meisner ran this operation and did it on purpose and lied to us on purpose. So they lied to Congress, and then they withheld information, and then they released felons into the United States. Now you think, well, that's not very good. So then you have a hearing, and the Justice Department's there, and everybody's there, and all of us congressmen stood up there and we asked questions. And they don't tell you the truth necessarily, but we caught them. So the Justice Department got involved, and I just want to show you this appalled me. And it's just a little piece of things that go on. This appalled me. The lady that planned this whole thing to lie to Congress and fool us makes $111,000 a year and was in charge of a certain department. Now she was caught by the Justice Department. So now she's penalized. Her penalty is that she's been transferred to another department, but still makes $111,000 a year. 9 people were involved, and 1 got fired. A few got 3 weeks pay, and the rest got transferred. That was the penalty of these, what I consider crimes. They were crimes. And when the Justice Department is there, you get to ask questions. I said, if a jailer in a civil situation released a bunch of prisoners, would that be considered a crime? And this was a man who was very high up in the Justice Department, and he was a lawyer for them. He said, I don't know, I don't cover that portion of the government. I said, okay. I said, well, if you did get caught and then you ask for information and you try to withhold it or hide it, would that be considered an obstruction of justice? Gosh, I don't know. That's a specialized area that I don't deal in. Oh, okay. If you lie to the people that, the police department, after they caught you committing crimes, would that be a crime? Same answer every time. So that staggers me. And that is the tip of the iceberg of what happens there. And now here's the best part. I just told you the penalties for what these people did, for what they did to Congress, and the penalties. The most interesting part, all of those penalties can be appealed. So the man from the Justice Department said they will appeal these. So I said, well, why don't we buy them dinner and give them each $100 and see if we can get out of this thing okay? Because it will get lessened by the appeals. So we have a time now when it is so important that we watch what our government's doing or where it's going. And when you have a blatant disregard, I mean, this is very serious when China can get involved in a campaign. When have you ever heard of things like this? And what's the answer to it? How come they did it? I don't know. And there are no answers to the American public, and I would, if I listed them for you, they'd be on a sheet of paper this big. Well, I promise you this, that it will shake our Constitution to its very bones. And that is what's happening to this country today. And so it's very important that you get people in there that will go in there and fight, because it's going to require a fight, and that will go and think of you from here, from their heart, and do what they're supposed to, because that's their job and that's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to fool you, and they're not supposed to be able to be proud of the fact that you could be fooled. And there should be accountability for everything that goes on. Now, if we lose that, we lose America. And so that's why I'm a congressman. Again, I'm not a politician. And I'm going to fight that with every last dying breath, because it's important to me. It's important to my kids, your kids, my grandkids, and your grandkids. So I want to thank you tonight for coming. I want to thank you for being active. You have to be active, more now than ever. Read the paper, look at how ridiculous things happen on a daily basis now, and how there are just absolutely no controls. And that's why we have to control Congress. And we have to, we really need a Republican president. And these things are so important. At least we'll give you an honest answer. We'll be responsible. But you have to be involved. The grassroots. You're the people. You're the base. You're what it's all about. And don't ever forget it. When the people speak, the politicians move. If the people don't speak, the politicians kind of do whatever they want, and they can get very arrogant because they're a congressman or a senator or whatever. But if you speak, they'll respond, so you must let them know you're here, and you must be on top of it. So it's a pleasure to be here for Roscoe. He's one of the nicest men I've ever met. And and I'm not saying this because he's a fellow Republican. He's a good, honest man, and he's bright, and he does what he's supposed to do, and he fights what we're supposed to have. We are both very concerned about protecting our country from a military standpoint, and he's brilliant at it. So I want to say thank you again, and it was a pleasure speaking to you tonight, and God bless you all, and please stay with us. Thank you.
Have time to read it. As busy as you are, I know you will.
I will find time.
Hold the book up, Connor.
Okay.
Say anything.
Unlimited access. It's perfect. It's just right in.
Thank you all very much for coming. I couldn't be here to introduce Sonny. I'd just like to say something about him now. When he was elected to the Congress, there was a big stir. Sonny Bono is coming to Congress. And there was, I suspect a lot of people wondered what in the heck is an entertainer going to do here. But I suspect they may have forgotten that we had a pretty good president who was an actor. I had the privilege of, I will tell you, Sonny, that for quite a while after you came, I really didn't have the nerve to go up and say hello to you. And then I found that Sonny was on the National Security Committee where I served, and I've had the privilege of serving with him. And he is a very good member of the National Security Committee, and he is right. We share a concern for the protection of our country, and our military is not getting as much money as it needs to get. We're now raping our military by $1.9 billion in this silly appropriation to cover the Bosnia effort, and nearly $2 billion of that is coming out of defense. Not one dime of it should have come out of defense. I'm just really happy that Sonny came out tonight. In addition to being a great entertainer, he is a great congressman, and he's also a great human being and a great American. I hope that you all welcome him well, and welcome him again for coming here today. To tell you that Sonny came here and it's his son's birthday. So let's send happy birthday wishes to his son. Will you tell him that everybody here wished him a happy birthday?
I will, Ron.
Sonny was mentioning my back, which was out. They had to meet me with a wheelchair, and I was on a cane, and you know, it disappeared just as quickly as it came. Let's hope it stays. Okay.
Right, Sonny, thank you very much. Incidentally, our local cable outlet has just recently put your TV show on, so we thank you very much for that. We can now relive those golden days of yesteryear. We do appreciate it. It's a very, very popular show here in Hagerstown once again. Right now, Vicki, if you will come up. Vicki has some comments as one of the National Committee women.